The focus of this chapter is on Boxer, by far the strongest and most unnecessarily loyal animal on the farm, and unfortunately, one of the more dim-witted. He had injured his hoof during the last battle, and although he refuses to slow down his work, he privately begins to admit his age, and how he's looking forward to retiring soon. The difficulties that animals like Boxer face are contrasted to the increasing life of luxuries the pigs seem to be enjoying. While the common animals, as we'll now call them, are frequently hungry, cold, and working, the pigs are repeating to the animals that times are actually better now than they were with Jones, and they are growing fatter with confusing justifications like a too rigid equality in rations would have been contrary to the principles of animalism, whatever that means. At any rate, the animals believe every word the pigs feed them, and this allows the animals to work harder and suffer more, while the pigs continue to adopt a more and more privileged lifestyle for themselves. New young pigs are everywhere, and pigs are no longer freely associating with the common animals. The pigs build their young a schoolhouse and brew themselves beer, while the other animals have their rations reduced multiple times throughout a brutal winter. It also helps the pigs that Moses the Raven reappears around this time and spreads visions of Sugar Candy Mountain, promising the animals that they will go to this heaven-like place once their hard labors of life are set aside. There's a certain mockery in all the mechanisms the pigs are leveraging to create this unequal system. There's a long paragraph detailing all of the ceremonies and routines that are now built into the patterns of the farm, like parades, flag raisings, gun firings, chants, songs, and so on. They also have a little mock election, calling the farm a republic and allowing the animals to unanimously vote for the only candidate, Napoleon. But you can see the clever effect this has on the animals, who found it comforting to be reminded that, after all, they were truly their own masters, and that the work they did was for their own benefit, so that, what with the songs, the processions, squealers' lists of figures, the thunder of the gun, the crowing of the cockerel, and the fluttering of the flag, they were able to forget that their bellies were empty, at least part of the time. It's under these conditions that Boxer continues to work as hard as he's ever worked before, even despite his injured hoof, hoping to accumulate as much stone as possible prior to his retirement. But then one day, he works a little too hard and completely collapses. He manages to limp to his stall, and the pigs let out that they are making arrangements for him to be taken away and treated at the local hospital. And sure enough, a few days later, when the rest of the animals are out working in the fields, the van comes around to pick up Boxer. But something's wrong. Benjamin spots the van and literally gallops for the first time in his life and screams to the other animals, "They're taking Boxer away!" And when the other animals are like, "Okay, good," Benjamin scolds them and tells them with terror that the side of the van actually says horse slaughterer and glue boiler. There is then a desperate scene where the animals are chasing the van and warning Boxer, and Boxer trying to kick the door open and escape, and the animals screaming and sprinting to close the gate. But all of this is to no avail. In what feels like something of a joke, Squealer appears before the animals a few days later and gives an outrageous summary of Boxer's last moments, complete with sitting beside Boxer's hospital bed as he is barely able to utter, "Napoleon is always right," one last time. Squealer then gives an even more outrageous story about the words on the side of the van that the animals read, and how the van used to be owned by the butcher but had recently been bought by the hospital and they just hadn't changed the words yet. Oh, of course. The animals actually believed this. Then the chapter ends with another mocking note, this time after Napoleon says all the right things to the animals to honor Boxer's memory. He announces that there will be a banquet, of course for the pigs only, to celebrate Boxer. And there is, except that the pigs had purchased another case of whiskey and apparently celebrated Boxer's memory by getting roaringly drunk.